I thought the easiest one was going to be Ukraine and Russia.
But the problem is really Vladimir Putin. You talked to him in Alaska.
Yeah, I did.
He has picked up the pace of the bombing.
Look, there's tremendous hatred between him and Zelensky. Tremendous. I've seen it before.
Zelensky says I'm coming to the table.
Well,
Zelensky
now
says.
True. He wasn't coming to the table so quickly. You remember the famous...
So is your patience run out with Putin?
Yeah, it's sort of running out and running out fast. But it does take two to tango. It's amazing. When Putin wants to do it, Zelensky didn't. When Zelensky wanted to do it, Putin did. Now Zelensky wants to, and Putin is a question mark. But we're going to have to come down very, very strong. It's the only one. This is the one, because I've always had a great relationship with Putin. This is the only war that I haven't solved. Now, let's get into Gaza, because that's another one. So those are two that are...
Before you move on, can I ask you, what is clamping down on Vladimir Putin?
Well, it'll be hitting very hard with sanctions to banks and having to do with oil and tariffs also. But I've already done it. I've done a lot. Look, India was their biggest customer. I put a 50% tariff on India because they're buying oil from Russia. That's not an easy thing to do. That's a big deal. And it causes a rift with India, you know. And remember this is a Europe problem much more than our problem. The other thing I've done, Brian, and I know how you feel very strongly about it, and I understand a lot of people do it, a lot of people don't, frankly. But we were spending $350 billion on a war that was across the ocean. Europe was spending $100 billion. It's still a lot of money, but it should have been equalized, at least equalized, or they should have spent more. But I did something. As you know, I went to NATO, great relationship with all of those NATO countries, and I got them to raise from 2% to 5%. And then I got them to pay for anything that all of our costs now being paid by NATO. So NATO is very, you know, they're rich countries, and they're now paying. We're sending missiles and things to NATO. NATO's paying us, and they're distributing to where they want, which is, in this case, Ukraine.
Mr. President.
Which is a big saving. That's a big difference. We're not spending, but you know what I want to do? I want to stop it for a different reason. Because now, I guess you could say we make money. I don't want to make money, but we're making money because but I want to stop because they're losing 6,000 to 7,000 soldiers every single week. And they're not American soldiers. They're Russian and Ukrainian soldiers. And some people in the towns. But the big numbers are the soldiers. They're losing. Last week, they lost 7,018 soldiers. A little bit more Russia than Ukraine, but they're both, you know, they've lost 1.5 million soldiers fighting back. I want to stop it on a human basis. You know, their souls, they're Russian souls, they're Ukraine, they're not American. But I just feel I have an obligation to do.
Mr. President, see these buildings? A lot of them in New York City you built.
I do.
That's called capitalism, not socialism. We have Mondani, who is ahead of the polls here. What's your reaction?
It's amazing.
It's up by 20.
I call him my little communist. He's my little communist mayor. But, you know, he has to come to Washington for money, a lot of money. And it's amazing. I was so surprised by this. Even the other two candidates, I mean, you know, you look at the candidates now, maybe one-on-one somebody could beat him, and I'm not looking at the polls too carefully, but it would look like he's going to win. And that's a rebellion. It's also a rebellion against bad candidates, okay? It's a rebellion. They're tired of it. You know, they're seeing things happening. We have taxes being put on us in New York by Democrats that are so bad that even the Democrats are revolting. It's not possible for a Democrat to lose. I did, you know, in the presidential election, I did great in New York. I did great, you know, considering it's New York. I mean, I did great. But there's a lot of question on the voters, you know, on the booths and everything else on the votes. But we should never be in a position where we're talking about a communist. Now, a communist running what could be, because it's, you know, so badly run, but what could be. I'll tell you, if I were mayor of New York, it would be the greatest city in the world so fast.
Are you going to get more involved?
Because we have such great cops. You know, I looked at the police, New York's finest last night. They all wanted my picture of all I was. They beat the hell out of my hand. My hand is like a wounded warrior. They shake, and they're strong as hell, the police. Some of these guys, they're taking, you know, it's based on merit again. So now they're very strong. When they shake your hand, and some of them are crying because they never cried when they were born. They didn't cry, but now they're crying. because they love our country. They love me, and you know, they know it's law and order and stuff. They want common sense. Sir, may I shake your hand? May I please shake your hand? And they're crying, and they're shaking my hand. I'm saying,
but here's why that really matters to answer this question, is because he's not pro-police. He's pro-social workers, sending them out there, and if those cops aren't back, they're not going to do their job. So you got Cuomo, Sliwa, and Adams. Are you calling for those three to drop out?
Well, I think they have to have one say. And it would look to me like Cuomo, frankly, is leading the other two. And look, I'm a Republican, but Curtis is not exactly primetime Republican, you know. He wants cats to be in Gracie Mansion. He wants to open it up as a kid. That's the home, for those that don't know.
He's a good crime fighter.
The magnificent home of the mayor. It's beautiful. Gracie Mansion, to me, is like a fabled place. If you're in New York. No, we don't need to have thousands of cats.
He didn't want cats to eat the rats.
It looks like, look, Cuomo, you know, you have a weather person here who I happen to think is
Janice
wonderful. And I just told Janice, I said, you know, you are responsible because of her level of passion about what happened with her parents-in-law was so incredible against Cuomo that really brought them down. Janice, I hope you're watching, because I'm saying it with respect, but that brought Cuomo down. Her level of passion, you know, what he did with the nursing homes, it was so horrible. Yeah, but nobody had the impact that Janice Dean had. I used to watch, and she'd be doing the weather, and then she'd start talking about it. And she was very emotional about it. She definitely loved them. You know, their parents-in-law, as I understand it, but she definitely loved them. And that was brutal for Cuomo. He seems to be leading by a little bit, but he's still way behind. It almost looks like even one candidate
wouldn't work
at this point.